So I gotta be having on my this is perfect. Usually we have power. Okay, so now let me give you the mindset and the overview.
Yes, sir.
So for those of you who are watching this via Facebook Live, please understand that everything starts in the beginning. And in the beginning, there's a seed. And that seed starts to blossom. But it blossoms to a tree both ways. When the seed is planted, it goes both ways. Because the foundation, they say as above, so below. The foundation has to be as strong to support the top. So, we're going to have, I've done seminars worldwide. And I did a seminar here in 2014. The purpose of the seminar was to share information that literally most people will never acquire because they didn't participate in this division of what would be martial arts. And what I mean by that, it goes back to 1947, I believe, with Robert Trias, who started the first school in Arizona. And they had competitions, and the organization called the USKA, the United States Karate Association, the original one. You want to do it straight, man, do that on the angle, with the camera stuff. Yeah, otherwise, I can't fix it. That's okay, then come from another angle, if you have to move it over, or even do that. In other words, when I edit it, if it's like my teeth crooked, I can't fix it. I can't do nothing for you, man. So the USKA, they had the Grand Nationals being the biggest tournaments, and then they started, they meaning martial arts, because everything was separated in style, right? Tang Soo Do, Taekwondo, and then all the other, Goju, etc., etc. But Chuck Norris, Carlos Norris, aka Chuck Norris. Yes, he's going to just share information. He literally was the first person to do what's known as a blitz. A blitz that I recorded, or I should say I exposed, not that I recorded, I wasn't there. I was born in 1966. But August of 1966, Mr. Carlos Chuck Norris is fighting against, rest in peace, Skipper Mullins, a student of Taekwondo. It's really Taekwondo, as taught by Jewelry in Texas, was the first student, Alan Steen, Pat Burleson, and everybody else, including Larry Conan, who was master. These guys were Jewelry Taekwondo students, and they were phenomenal fighters. So one of them, named Skipper Mullins, was fighting against Carlos, aka Chuck Norris, and Joshua, please. Yes, sir. Now, approximately 6 feet, give or take, is the distance between two competitors. Sometimes a little further, sometimes a little closer. But you can't do much from 6 feet away, except for, because there's no physical that's going to happen. But if you're there, and I'm here, obviously we have to somehow get a little closer, and you will see guys and girls, and then eventually, they sometimes will be here, and it's just a matter of, okay, who's going to squeeze the trigger first? It was a different game during that time than they had the footwork and so on and so forth, yet. But then what happens? I think he cheated. And what I mean by cheated is when you do something that nobody else knows, it's almost like you cheated. You didn't cheat, you do something they didn't know. Right? Right, so it's information now, and the application of the information, which is what we're talking about, right? Knowledge without action is like knowledge without faith. Right? You got to take action. That's power. Right? Application of information equals power. So you're sparring, and I'm here, and you're saying, he's in Brooklyn. The heck? But realistically, if I'm here, I will never attack him this far, of course. However, if I'm here, I'm still a little out of his range. So Norris, he wasn't here, but let me show you the distance track. He went 1, 2, over 15 feet. He cheated in the respect of, what are you doing? So if I'm here, which is out of your range, and I take that step, obviously, I'm already halfway there. Now I end up over here. Look like I cheated. He did that. And I was like, wow. The first recorded freaking blips. 1966, August.
Black and white, right?
Yes, and I shared it, and it got quite a few, thousands of views via Facebook. Of course, to me, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, what is the video worth? Right? Right? So to me, we're recording this. This is not talk. Let's go to the videotape. And I want to thank all you guys for being part of history or her story and your like this, and give yourself a pat back to the head. Because let me tell you something. In the beginning, things are confusing. Because you don't know it. In the beginning, the seed is small. Well, the forest starts with one seed and he starts to germinate. So I've done seminars and I've done instructor certifications. Now, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too happy when I started doing this because they changed the game and I didn't like it. I don't mind improvement, but in 1985 to 1986, it looked completely different. Look what? Competition, we're kicking the bucket, sparring. And it became where, and I like to use the analogy of basketball. Let's say we played basketball in 1985, the ball goes in the hoop, we got 2 points. But we had to worry about rules. Couldn't carry, couldn't take 3 steps, otherwise you would nullify that so-called score. So let's say 1986, just a year after, you throw the ball, it hits the rim, they go 2 points. 2 points, what the heck is that? The ball ain't going to the hoop. That's close enough. And that's what started to happen. Because of the sponsorship of Budweiser in particular, and the team, all of a sudden it became a new thing. They started gangs. And these were the red gang. It wasn't blood. It seemed like that was Budweiser. Right? And that gang was recruited by moneymen. And they took what would have been competitors. Imagine the top 5 heavyweights and putting them on one team. What are you doing? But this guy's a nemesis. Now you're making them into a commodity. You're buying them out. So I thought, and that ended up becoming what is today. But the Budweiser tournament circuit who gave away $2,500 for grand champion in 1986. Yeah, except that there was an event in 1985 that gave away $5,000 in Bermuda. The Bermuda Invitational Grand. We'll get back to that. That's like going to Hans Island. I got a chance to go there, so I'll explain that too. Because this is important, guys. Most of you guys don't know your history. So that's why you can regurgitate something from the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. That's nothing. It's recorded information. That's why I put the Chuck Norris. That's why I put any information that people could benefit from. And for whatever it's worth. How come I've never seen it? So I did. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. I did a play-by-play. No one's ever done play-by-play, how to land the technique and what happened, and so on and so forth. They're doing it in basketball, they're doing it in boxing, they're doing everything else. But in martial arts, we're not at the point, get out of here. We're at the point as anybody else. So we need to find out the truth. What works, what doesn't work under this or these rules. Martial arts is not fighting because there's rules. The street is fighting and it's ugly, there's no rules. Same thing in war. However, from martial arts, you can acquire the techniques that can help you in the street as long as you're able to control the frontal cortex, the fight, flight, and freeze reptilian mind that says, saber-tooth tiger. Run, which is flee, flight, I can say. Freeze, which is a lot of people, and maybe a put on the floor on top of that, right? And the bomb movement is kind of eradicated. Or fight. Which normally means guerrilla warfare, because you're going against somebody stronger than you, you gotta be smarter. You defend against them, use the high ground, low ground, whatever it takes. You gotta use what you got, get what you want. In this case, get home safe. right? So the reason I love competition is because there's no other form of what would be practice. Okay, fast twitching muscles. When someone's actually trying to hit you, there's a little more pressure than grab here, do this, step, or book. No. So to me, forms, self-defense, are prearranged. Sparring is not. It's erratic. So I wanted to improve upon my ability to adapt to whatever was happening. So what did I do? I made up the forms on the spot. They got pissed off at me that I wasn't going to champion against all these so-called, all this, let's go to the videotape. Because to me, it made no sense that if I only practice, no, attack me this way. You know, they joke around again. Look, you did it wrong. in between two girls, what are you going to do? Okay, so, getting back to this. So, since I was pissed off, then they started giving points to the shoulder to hit the rim. They started giving points to the shoulder. Now, forget about that. Now, this guy here, who actually threw the technique at my shoulder, right? His boys and girls say, point! And because I went back, the judges who didn't see it, they're having too fast. No, what are those? I'm making a mistake. That might seem like a point for where you're at, based on the angle. That's why you got to have multiple judges, multiple angles. But if this judge said that's the point, and that judge said that's the point based on your angle, now it depends on where the third judge is. He or she might say they had a better angle. Okay, let me go with them. It's an influence. No! You can't do that because by definition, you just became part of a perpetration of a fraud. You're guilty by association because you followed the leader and he was blind. No! You want to be able to, based on your account of the situation, assess what it was that you saw. And then, and only then, speak your mind to saying yes. Honor and integrity. Honor and integrity. Now, in sport karate, as it was known, when I heard it was called sport karate or point karate. So you play the sport and you score points, like in every game, right? You play the sport, you get some points. Makes sense to me. But to me, I was like, wait a minute, I think I could use other sports, like basketball, like baseball, school this. Like football, I can use the footwork or the movement of other sports. But my friends won't think like that. Some believe that it's a game of tag. What? We play tag. Tag wasn't like that. Yeah, freeze tag. As a matter of fact, if I want to give you guys a heart attack right now, we can play freeze tag and we'll have a freaking heart attack in this little room. And we will do that. I do that in classes too. You know, children over age. Honestly, because freeze tag is no joke. Your heart rate goes to the roof because it's anaerobic. Now, here I am, 16 years old, and I'm going to be a father. I need some dough. My boys were the bank robbers of the early 80s in the Bronx, and my father's incarcerated, so I can't do that. I want to be around for my sons, so I'm not going to do what they did and go to jail like my dad. Someone trains me. I got to wait till I'm 18 to fight black women, so I thought. Until someone trained me, once you get to the big boys. And I looked around and said, I hope my mom's not here. Because my mom's going to come and stab them for freaking trying to disrespect me and then whip my butt and buy me some panties. That's what she would do. Yeah, get the pendejo. ¿Qué te pasa, mamá? I'm not allowed to be pendejo, mamá. Okay, what? So I had how do you call it? In the honor of my mother, and And that's being nice. My grandmother was worse, or better, whatever. She had 300 members of her social club, and she was like a shade lighter than you, right? Spanish Harlem, late 60s, early 70s, Renegades of Harlem, 150, 119, between 2nd and 3rd. Kind of Brooklyn and Angeles and Bronx. So this is my real family. And I know what fighting is. When my grandmother stabbed me with her arms, you know? So when I get into martial arts, I thought it was honorable. Everybody was dressed in white. April 19th, 1976, I joined Sang Soo Tai Kim's. And he was the most cock decent freaking dude you ever saw. I ain't tight what we thought. If you get like that, you're gonna be tight. This guy had full splits. You're gonna be slow. He was flying through the air with bigger than these, breaking boards and freaking all types of stuff. That's what I'm about with the sports. He's on TV. Oh my God. So that was my role model. So it was incredible. So Tiger Kim, but they didn't compete that often. Only once a year. I ain't like that. It was a Henry Choice tournament. Fell forward in Madison Square Garden. I'm like, I'm gonna compete more often. So I left the school. It was because I was 13 and he started getting into girls now. Chance Baron came out and I was, one of my 8-year lesters, my overlaps, and we moved to another neighborhood, so I had an excuse not to do it. But I opened up this magazine called Karate Illustrated, and I saw Region 11 was New York, New Jersey, and I'm like, I want to be in there. So when we moved back to the neighborhood, and they took me to this scholar of a school called Taft High School.
I know Taft.
So Taft High School, Ernie was there. It was the #1 dropout school in the nation, and proud of it. And for hip hop history, for those of you who don't know, that's where Kool Herc went to school. Okay? Just so you know. Exactly right. And that's the thing. The hip hop and the martial arts is what I was into. So when I went to the tournaments, after finding out that they were gangs, how did I find out? I went to a tournament in 1979 at the Webster Avenue PAL.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I didn't go to compete. I was hanging out with my boy Louis Trujillo. I was little Louis. I'm more with the old people. I was one of the little kids that would be around elders because I didn't have to shut up. Plus, I knew how to make drinks, so they used to give me tips. I was like a bartender in the house party. I ain't 6, 7 years old. You know, the other day, I had to make some dough. So I figured it out. Entrepreneur from the beginning, like my grandmother. But I go to this tournament, and not everybody's in a white uniform. I'm gonna hear Kim Sutherland, Troy Sutherland, like I used to hear all the time in Madison Square Garden in the tournament that I went to. Going back a little further. 1976, I go join the school. A month after, my instructor called the tournament, and I had to tell my mother, Mom, he wants me to compete. That's the way I saw it. He believed in me, he wants me to compete. No, he threw the tournament, and he says, the tournament's there, so I heard, I want you to compete. That's what I heard. And she said, okay, I'm a white belt. I'm gonna compete. Go to the tournament. They said, go. Oh, my kid, man. And I got it. Point. And, it worked before. They threw something at me, and they gave him a point. I'm like, he didn't touch me. He didn't touch me. Take me lower. He didn't touch me. But I said, you know what? It worked before, but do it again. I went. And he kicked me back. It hit me in the chest. It moved to the throat. They gave him a point. There was a big white kid. My mother made it racial. And I lost. Score 2-1. It's only a 2-point match. They said we have the finals. Now I lived in the 164th in Sheridan Avenue, off the concourse, and in the school that I competed at was Fordham University. That's Fordham Road, way to the east side.
Yep.
Past White Castle.
Yep.
So, Mom, we're going to the finals, right? You're always like that. I gotta go alone. I'm telling you, look. But I'm not allowed to go. How crazy Mom was, no, because we already knew how to. These little kids were not little kids. They knew how to do things like cook that most did. And I was one of those little kids. I was a babysitter at age 6, I had two kids that I babysat. One would cry, the other one would cry. I would cry, everybody fell asleep. Go babysit. This was the diapers you couldn't even, there was only one shot. One shot only. And you could, and when you try to put it out, you mess up the diaper and then it used to slip out the split. Anyway, so many guys know. Why do I mention that? Because leadership was the key. We were taught to be leaders and not followers. And my mother embedded that in me. So that being the case, I learned from a young kid how to be a leader, how to be a room, shut the hell up, use your mouth in the equation of your one mouth, 2 ears, so listen 2 times more than you talk. Don't speak when the elders are speaking. And then you become that cool kid that gets tips because he knows how to shut the hell up and help out. I'm the kid that you sent to the kitchen with a cigarette and I would try to smoke it. I just, and bring it. Because respect was important. Honesty was important. So, again, fast forward. I go there. There was a guy named Ramon Smith. Ramon Smith, Dominican June Reed style Taekwondo from the Dominican Republic, who beat Howard the Flash Jackson in the PK Nationals, the first kickboxing, or became kickboxing, full contact at the time, in 1974. And I saw that on ABC while we were in sports. And he was there. There was a guy named Ron Henderson, heavy dude. No disrespect, I told him like that. His hair was like Bozo. He had a receding hairline, and he had it. That was Bozo, right? But Bozo was there with other guys like Speedy Wilson and Michael Little Studs and Rupert O'Brien. Guys that I saw in Karate Illustrated Ratings, they were there. They were this freaking tournament, and they stuck to me like title bomb. My eyes were burning. I'm sensitive to those things. I don't like that. And I go in there, and everything like it was black and white or shades of gray. Dingy white uniforms, and they didn't look white, they were beige. And then the gray uniforms were like faded, most of them. It looked nice, and it smelled like hell. My mother's big time is that you know that I put the cologne on all the time. I don't give a who smells to me is important, and that place. So, cuerpo, están peleando con el culo cagado, that's what my mother would say, right? And I won't agree. That's where the school has to smell good, that your body has to smell good, and that's important. Especially to my mom. So I go to that tournament and I noticed that these guys were fighting different. And I didn't like it until I did. I said, man, that's ghetto. I'm ghetto. You can't get more ghetto than Spanish Harlem in the 60s and 70s, and we moved up to a better neighborhood called the Bronx.
They ain't gonna get in the Bronx, right?
So because I did there, you still have doorman buildings, and they still do, throughout the whole area. Those 61st, never stop that, right? Anyway, so I said, there's another way of doing things. So I go to a tournament in 1980, December, pretty in high school, promoter Tommy Chen, who was also a rated competitor. Right? If you look at the ratings, so people just say, who are you upset to? Let me see these documents. They're not there. Because to me, this is like the Bible of what would have been competition. Not that they weren't good in martial arts. That's called Super Weapon, which was one of the many movies, and Warrior would have been, and all these documentaries. I know that there were different styles, different people in New York and everything else, but they weren't rated. But I did see a guy named Luis Fernandez and Luis Ruiz. And before that, I looked at the ratings. There was another Luis Delgado. Luis, all rated competitors at different stages. Puerto Ricans from the Bronx. I know Fernandez, he's half Cuban, but, Puerto Rican and Cuban in his case. And I was like, I can identify with those guys. Because there was no other people that were really rated. And I can identify them. When I found out those from the Bronx, I'm from the Bronx too, right? And they know me. Eventually, I did meet all of them. About it. So, I go to a tournament. I'm a brown belt at the time. Because I didn't want to pay $100 for my black belt then. $100, 1980. That's a lot of dough. How many sneakers I could buy?
Like $35.
How many sneakers I could buy? Yeah. So my point was in this, that literally, I saw a different thing. Don't give up, Ty. You better stay up.
I'm not.
No, I'm doing this on purpose. You stay up. Don't stay up. Honey, what did I tell you? Sometimes do classes. Do what? And no one moves, right? You know why? That's the hardest thing to do. Not move. Which is okay. You gotta get a little break for now. But honestly, information is potential power. The application of the information is power. Application of information is movement. And movement is going to be the key to be able to touch somebody. However, there's also ways to set them up to come into you, which is called decoys. It's the art of war. In the art of war, you have the terrain, you got the divide and conquer, the high ground and the flank, and the espionage. Information is about the other person. The spy gets the information to the general makes decisions, and sends in special forces. By the groups of 6. And there's one sniper, usually. And you can't get in or get out without that mission, without the sniper. If that sniper's not there, you can't get in or get out. Isn't that simple? Again, so going back, 1979, now 1980, I go to a tournament. I will not dare put on my brown belt because I haven't sparred in a while and I'm scared. I'm not part of a school and I'm doing a taboo thing, going to a tournament without playing my instructor role, even though I haven't been in school in about a year. Then we move. I compete, I take 3rd place. I meet this guy named, I thought it was Time Mac, but his name was Time Up. And we became good friends. Then I saw that there was a guy there that I met when he was a green belt and I was a red belt. He went to Clinton High School. And he had a weird name, and I know it was biblical. He was a bomber that day. His name was Jonas Nunes. Now, again, he's a green belt, I'm a red belt. 1979, he goes to school in Louis Trujillo to Clinton. Top athletic school. I'm not in high school yet. 12 years old. And I meet him. I remember him. He competed. He went that day. He wore Bruce Lee Temple gloves. He says, I have this. I have the school. Come on and look up. The school is under his house. The basement of the house. Not too far from Decatur Avenue, not too far from Gunner. And we go there and we work out. But I say, I don't know how to use my hands. But I noticed that all the top fighters in the magazine keep trying to be number 1 is fighting with the front hand down. I don't know why, but everybody else that I knew was fighting like this. Pretty much. Or like this. You know. But we fought like this, which I would look. So it looked like it was different. And I'm mimicking Keith Vitale, no more fighting the nation at the time throughout the industry. So I go there, but he wants to do full contact. At the time it's called kickboxing. Remember 120 pounds, 14 years old, and he beat me up to the body, and I didn't like it. Because it's like, I didn't join for that, but I like the fact that I don't have my hands. I said, well, can we do point? Final day we did point. And I hit him for the first time with a punch. I never hit anybody in my life. My eyes were probably closed. And I brought Time Up the last dragon there, at the Delgado, at Bolo, a whole bunch of people to go train. Now, I go to a tournament, and I said to him, listen, I'm a brown belt, but I'm not good at this thing, so I figure if I just start with a green belt and work my way up from there, that'd probably be, you know, I'm strategizing my life. And I said to him, listen, you're my teacher. So if I don't get a point, I want you to fight, you know, argue for me. Well, what he did, he got credit for being my teacher, but he never argued for me. I got pissed off because I'm like, hold on, bro. If you're supposed to be my teacher, then eventually got to the point where I said, listen, you can't be losing to people that don't score a point on me if you're supposed to be my teacher. You're making me look bad. You're making me into a liar that I am. You know? And the reason I have to say that is because it's historical fact. And it needs to clarify the nonsense. And I started this thing in 1982 called New York's Finest Karate Academy. I got blue uniforms from KI International who had moved over from LA to Queens, and I got them to sponsor us 5 blue uniforms. I negotiated a deal. So all of a sudden, everyone became New York's finest, Tommy Chen included. I got Jonas Nunes, Tommy Chen, myself, and my right-hand man, Tony Morrison. So we became New York's finest, and I had a student named Fabian Carrillo, Fabian Carrillo, who was a Jonas student, but I showed them what Billy Beck had taught me, the blitz. In his school, that we slept in the school, 1984. But it's 1983, I'm already rated, karate illustrated. I won my first grand champion in 83 in New Jersey. And I got rated in a magazine as a 17-year-old. I should have got rated as a 16-year-old, but when that kid trained me, I said, I'm a big boy today. When they trained me. And I saved the guy's life. My mom wasn't there. And I took third place. You know, the rated tournament. I lost to Speedy Wilson, who was part of the AAU World National Karate Team, who had fought alongside with Billy Black and Toki Hill and the rest of them. So I was like, hey, I want him. And he was rated, and he was there that day in 1979. Oh, by the way, the person that won the grand champion in 1979 was that Bozo. And I was impressed. Bozo fought like this. Pop! He was blitzing! Ron Henderson, rest in peace, was the first New Yorker that I ever saw blitzing. And when I asked a student, Louis Ruiz, who was also rated as a teenager, he said he learned that when they went to the Mars tournament, which were promoted by 2 people, Mike Anderson and Fred Wren, the whirlwind, who came from Texas. Texas climbed those students who started the top 10 circuit. They became top 10 magazine, and then became top 10 equipment. And that started what was considered the PKA. Mike Anderson, who's from Queens, New York originally, for guys that don't know, that was my boy, I had him on speed dial for years. This is important to me because all of this I'm going to learn comes from that foundation of Americans, not Japanese, not Koreans, that took the sparring, because Carlos Morris started training with the JKA top fighters, Frank Smith and Tony Fontanez. And that's when he learned that they created this thing, the blitz. I gotta give credit where it's due, but we called it the California blitz. So when we call the guy Howard the Flash Johnson, what made him the Flash? Well, he blitzed. But if you see Pat Johnson, rest in peace, who was also Buffalo, New York, by the way, you guys know, the second biggest city in New York State. He lived where Buffalo winds come from. It's not Buffalo, it's Buffalo, New York. That's where it comes from. I didn't know that, right? We might go to Buffalo Wild Wings soon. You know. I think we have. So literally, so in a nutshell, everyone has their history. This is some of my history. But I want to eliminate the mystery. This whole thing from blitzing, which became California style, eventually got to Chicago and Texas. Chicago, Texas, California. California had the TPA, Tournament Players Association, AOK in Texas, American Organization of Karate, something like that. And then the AKA, American Karate Association in Chicago. Those 3 regions have another thing in common, groin kicks. Groin kicks was the groin was a point. Not in New York, not in New York. So I used to go up to Massachusetts, Region 12, to practice my groin kick techniques because if you were the top fighter and you went to that region, you might get kicked in the groin. Hence why they spar like this. That's the reason the hand was down, to protect the groin when I said, now instead of me being a hater, hey, wow, that's dope, why? It's true, you get kicked in the groin in the street, that could be a problem. Then I fought in a tournament that had techniques to the back. The back was a point, AAU. I fought in a tournament called the Big Apple Open, promoted by Alex Plus One Stevenburg. Alice. Yeah, but that was the point. That's what they were going to.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it was still paralyzed, it was still a point. But I won grand champion that day. So I was in a red uniform. And the people hook you go outside, get no points. Bah! Oh! Equal! It was Wasali, equal, half point, full point. He was out, he said the same, rest in peace was in the center. I gotta tell you guys this history because at that point, nobody from New York City was leaving New York City. They were in the dungeons of New York. And I know that I was there on Sundays too. Mitchell Jim, rest in peace, and he, Big Grandmaster Back tournaments, Jiggy Kwan, all those little events, I was there also. But I was going to go to the national tournaments too. My first national tournament, first place, 6 feet, was 1981, US Open. Once I saw that, live, these people fighting like this, oh, it was over. I'm coming back with information. I don't know how to do it, but when you come at me, oh, I know the rich hat, but it was more like an old ah. That's what the thing was. And I knew how, that's why that video you see of 15 years old, and you see when he comes out and goes, boom, rich hat and then jump into the afterwards. Right? The video's there on Freddie Tony Morrison.
Right.
But did you notice the ring was packed with spectators?
Right.
My ring was packed with spectators because I was doing something different. I had no idea. I didn't know I was having. I just knew that I had to win because I was going to be a father and I'm stressed out and I'm already 16 years old and I got to get the money and the money's not with the kids, it's with the adults. I'm not fighting the men and I'm going to get rated and then I'm going to be in a magazine and I'm going to be a full contract champion and I'm going to be rich. Are you crazy, man? After them saying I'm going to start sweating more than me. Literally, when I got ready, I thought I was going to make money from that. When I saw my friends on television doing full contact, I thought they were rich forever. Not that they made a lot of money in one day, they were rich forever. That's how naive I am. But I believe it. So I told my friends, I walked up to school in the main street. I want to be a world champion, karate, world champion kickboxing, I want to do seminars, I want to be in the magazines, and the newspaper, and television. They think I'm local. They all told me that in my face, but they think I'm crazy. So what happens? I was working out. In what's that? He's able to teach a temple class.
Yeah. I think you're doing something.
What?
I think you're doing something.
No, that's okay. He may not have anybody. And if he does, he still has the space. We're good. So what happens is, I spoke to a guy who I saw on television. I thought he was rich. He came down to work out over in Broadway, in Chinatown. I couldn't believe how this guy that's rich was going to be with the regular people, us. And he worked out with us because he wanted to learn the distance fighting. Because full contact, they're too close. So he was like this, they go front kick to the back leg. And then they try to choke for box. Unless you learn how to really, the top fighting, Bill Super Water was doing it from distance. So anyway, but what happened was, I found out that he had a job. And that messed me up. He said, here's my car for a job. He worked in a furniture store. And I don't want to disrespect him, but I want to ask Jonas, hey, how much money they make? Oh, it depends. Depends on what. You know, 100 allowance, sometimes tickets. I'm like, what? I'm thinking, well, they give me $500 on that tournament next week, and then there's another one for $1,000, and over there they got 200, and I can make more money. I didn't show him that. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Why? I need the money. How many times I'm gonna fight a year? 4 times a year, maybe. And if I'm really good, they won't wanna fight me, and I'm gonna make no money. So I had to take martial arts and make that in my vocation. I had to earn money doing martial arts. I didn't wanna do what this guy said, oh, you're gonna take the PAL, the YMCA, the community center, have a job, normally cleaning, like a lot of them for some reason were part of night shop, they were doing, maintenance, from what I'm talking to my friends. So they did that, and then they taught in that same place, and they could make some money from the test, they couldn't charge them, and then they worked as a bouncer the weekend. I'm like, I don't want to do that, man. I'm supposed to have a school on Fordham Road. I don't know who lives in school on Fordham Road. He doesn't even speak English. I'm not going to I don't want to be like my instructor. That's why I started going towards professional pricing. All right, so here we go, guys.